Hello everybody, welcome back to the Hello Goddess podcast. I am your host, Mandy Déa. I am a Reiki practitioner, a certified life coach, and future naturopath. I'm super excited to reconnect with you guys. I haven't done a solo cast in a while, and I just feel called to talk about this topic today. And I had to make time to sit down and record and talk to you guys because this is a very, very life-changing subject. So today's topic is going to be about how to not take things personally. And if you know me personally, you know that I'm extra sensitive. I'm a very sensitive person. I've always been this way. So this is something that I have been working on for a few years now because it just makes life a lot easier when you understand how and why we should not take things personally. So a few weeks back, I did post a reel on my Instagram on this topic. It was called How to Not Take Things Personally. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and follow me on Instagram. My handle is @MandyDéa. And yeah, I do post a lot of like wellness, spirituality, mindset stuff. If that is something that interests you, I know like sometimes it's better to have access to something short and sweet when you don't have time to listen or watch a whole podcast. But yeah, so I wanted to make the podcast on this topic because I think that once you grasp this concept in your life, once you really understand it, there comes so much freedom with that, and it will change your life, I promise you. So the first time that I really got into the idea of not taking things personally, I'm pretty sure it started when I was reading the book The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And he has 4 agreements. So basically 4 principles that he lives by, which are based on an ancient culture, like I think it's Toltec culture. But basically it's be impeccable with your word, don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And like, I don't know if you guys like to read, maybe you can listen to it in the audiobook version, but like I highly recommend this book. A lot of what has changed my life comes from that book. And I didn't really realize it at the time, but now looking back, it's like, yes, I apply so much of what he speaks about in the book. And today I really just want to go and zoom into the topic of not taking things personally. Because yes, this is going to change your life. As soon as you, like, it clicks in your mind, you're going to be like, wow, okay. So here it goes. You don't need to take anything personally because nothing is actually personal. The way that you perceive the world right now, you're not seeing things as they are. You're seeing things as you are. What I mean by that is how you see other people, how you see life, how you see colors around you, even how everything is passing through the filter of your mind. And your mind is just a collection of every single experience that you've had in your life, the way you perceived those experiences, trauma that can be passed down from generations to generations, pains that you've experienced in your life, the way that people have spoken to you in your life, the culture that you're in, the city that you grew up in, the neighborhood. Like, think about all the different facets, all the different factors that create the human being that you are. All of those, it's like a kaleidoscope effect. And you are seeing life, you are experiencing your life through all of those filters, okay? So that's why you can see like people, sometimes 2 twins will grow up in the same environment, will be having the same exact genes, the same DNA, but they will experience life differently, and they will be different completely because there's so many different factors that influence who you actually are. It's insane. So there's no one person in this world that is the same as you. You are completely unique, and your perspective, therefore, is also completely unique. Now, what this means is that there is nobody in this universe, or maybe even other universes, but there is nobody in this universe that experiences life the way that you are experiencing it right now. There's only you. And this applies to every single person on this earth. So I think we're up to like close to 8 billion people right now on the earth. All of those 8 billion people are seeing reality, our collective reality that we're participating in. They're seeing it from their own unique flavor, like their own perspective. There's no word for it, but like they see it through their filters, all those different filters that they've created through their lives. They're seeing life through that. I don't know if you've ever seen this image on the internet. It's like two guys standing in front of each other, and there's a 6 or a 9 drawn into the sand. And one person is saying, this is a 6, like clearly it's a 6. And the other person in the front is going like, no, it's a 9. From my perspective, it's a 9. And who's right, who's wrong? It really depends on how you're looking at things. The other thing too, oh my goodness, like a few years ago, that dress that everybody was freaking out over because some people were seeing one color and the other people were seeing another color. So again, it all comes back to perspective and how you're seeing reality, how you're seeing life through your own lens. It's kind of like people say like rose-colored glasses. People see life through the rose-colored glasses, meaning like they see only the positive and they don't see the negative. So it really depends. Even within one person, you could change the way you see life and reality so much in one lifetime, even being just one person. Like I remember when I was younger, the way that I perceived things, the way that I saw certain ideas has completely changed within the past 10-20 years. We evolve as human beings, and our experiences change us. And so as things happen to us, or as we go through life, we start to perceive things differently. I see myself differently now. I see other people differently than I used to. And so the way that I see people, it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me. People can like you, they can love you, they can be indifferent towards you. People could even hate you, and it would have nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. It has to do with how they experienced life personally. It's personal for them, it's not personal for you. They experienced life in a certain way that made them get to a point where they perceive you in their own way. And again, that belongs to them. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't say anything about you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you could just go around and do anything you want and hurt people and whatever. It doesn't matter. What do you think about me? It has nothing to do with me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying be the best person you can be. Do the best that you can every single day. When you know better, you do better. I love this quote by Maya Angelou. She said, I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. And I live by that. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I will never be perfect. No one will ever be perfect. Just do your best. Be the best person that you can be. When you make mistakes, own up to it. Take responsibility for your behavior. And then if you're all doing all of those things, whatever people will say afterwards, it has nothing to do with you and it doesn't belong to you. As long as you live with integrity and you forgive yourself, you forgive other people, and you do the best that you can, it doesn't matter what people think. Honestly, don't take it personally, because it's not personal. You are the main character in your life. I love this concept so much, like to relate it to movies. You're the main character, okay? In other people's life, They're the main character and you're either a supporting character, you could be an extra, or maybe you're not even in their movie at all. Doesn't that free you? Like, we think that people think about us a lot more than they actually do. Like, really, when you think about it. For example, if you're walking through the mall, do you notice what every single person is wearing? Do you notice how every single person, how tall or short or big or small they are? No, you're probably involved in your own mind. You're probably thinking about, like, where am I gonna go next? Do I want to go to Sephora, get that lipstick, or should I stop at the food court and get some snacks or whatever? You're not thinking about this person, that person. And you know, that's freeing, because there's a lot of people that walk around in their life so self-conscious, so worried about what will people think of me. Like, am I dressed well enough? Do I look beautiful enough? And at the end of the day, those people, they're not thinking about you. And if they are, they're seeing you from their own filter, and it doesn't say anything about you as a person. It doesn't mean anything personal towards you. We are literally our own worst critic. Like, oh my goodness, sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, sometimes things that I say about myself in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm sure my worst enemy would not even think that or say that about me. We're so hard on ourselves. We're trying to reach this ideal of ourselves, but really it's like, we are good enough as we are. We don't need to try to always be perfect, to try to always, you know, get people to like us and get people to be on board with our ideas and all these things, because at the end of the day, we're all living our own individual lives. We're all trying our best to do what we can with what we have, what we know, and that's enough. You don't need to worry what people think. I swear to you, they're probably not even thinking about you. That's the harsh truth, but it's a freeing truth. People are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. There's this quote that I love. It's one of my favorite authors, Jay Shetty. He says, I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. Try to get that like untangled in your mind, but it's because naturally we're like a self-adjusting. We want to connect with other people. We want to be loved, and so if we feel like people believe something about us, sometimes we'll start to act that way. But I think a powerful way to live is to go back to center, do inner work, and try to discover, who are you? Who are you really? Without the opinions of other people, without what people have said about you in the past, whether that be like family members, friends, enemies, co-workers, like get that all, like push that all aside. Who are you? Who are you really? And who do you want to be? That's an even better question. Who do you want to be? Doesn't matter what people think. It's not personal. Who would you want to show up as in the world? That's the question. And the powerful thing about meditation and all these spiritual practices like gratitude, meditation, yoga, and all these things is that it creates this blank slate. You start to understand that who you thought you were was actually never actually you at all. It's never been you. It's just something that you picked up along the way, like your mannerisms or your beliefs, or, you know, a lot of these things are just things that we picked up that aren't indicative of who we actually are in our core. And so when we do the work, when we do the spiritual work of meditating and reading about these concepts, we start to get in touch with our true essence, which is the same essence that everyone else has, which connects us all to the source, which is life. So, you know, that's where we connect with other people. when we recognize ourselves within others. So yeah, when you reconnect with that source of who you truly are, then it's a blank slate and you can decide how do you want to show up in life. And I think at that moment, what most people realize is that they want to be a loving, forgiving person because it makes life easier. It makes it easier to live amongst other human beings when you don't have to agree with everything that other people say, and that's just never going to happen. Again, we're 8 billion people with all of these different filters of beliefs, ideologies, religion, politics, the way we grew up, our family, our culture. Obviously, there's going to be some disagreements down the line, but when you try your best to be a good person and to show up honestly and with integrity and compassion and openness, it just makes it a lot easier to live, to be alive, and to understand that if people love you, great. If you connect with people, awesome. But if somebody comes and says to you, I don't like you, and I don't think you're worth it. I don't think you're worth my time. It just kind of just rolls off your back because you know that has nothing to do with you. Yeah. So I think like that really brings it all together. The main message I'm trying to convey here is that don't worry about what people think. They're not thinking of you as much as you think they are. And whatever they do think about you is based on their own preconceptions of how they see people, through the lens of their reality. But what matters the most is how you think of yourself, what you believe about yourself, because that's going to influence how you show up in the world. It's going to influence how you will live your life. It's going to be, if it's going to be a difficult life or a graceful, beautiful, loving experience. And also, it's going to influence how you impact other people. You're not in control of how they receive you, but you're in control of the energy that you decide to show up with. So I hope this was interesting. I kind of just I didn't really know how it would come out, but I think that, I really do believe that this message is really important for you to hear. And I'm going to set the intention that if you made it this far in the video or in the podcast, it's because you needed to hear this message today. So I'm sending you guys all of the love. I'm going to be having a few guests coming up in the next few weeks. And I hope you guys found this podcast interesting. And I'm sending you guys all of the love, all of the light and the Reiki energy. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And remember to love yourself. And remember to not take things personally, because they're not personal. Okay? Bye, guys.